Hello and welcome to MSHA University at mshau.com, your education and training resource for miners and mining contractors. Today we're going to talk about the 12 most critical types of PPE, or personal protective equipment, for mining. You'll also want to go to mshau.com to review the article that this video is based on. It's got a lot of additional details, some extra products, with links to check pricing and availability of each type of safety product. So, based on MSHA regulations primarily, and some OSHA regulations that overlap into MSHA territory, the 12 types of PPE that are most important to mining are hard hats, eye protection, hearing protection, respiratory devices and self-contained self-rescue SCSR devices, hand protection, protective clothing, high visibility or HI-VIZ vests and other types of clothing, life jackets, safety belts and safety lines, protective footwear, flashlights and headlamps, and finally first aid material, which may technically not be PPE, but we're including this based on some of the MSHA regulations. And speaking of MSHA regulations, here they are, specifically related to PPE for both surface and underground mining. And you can always go to the Code of Federal Regulations to review these standards and requirements in detail. But we're going to go through each one of these 12 types of PPE, providing a quote from the regulations for each, and examples of actual compliant products that are available on the market today. So let's get started. Number 1. Hard hats. All persons shall wear suitable hard hats when in or around a mine or plant where falling objects may create a hazard. One of the best examples of head protection at the moment is this Comfo cap by MSA Safety with ANSI and CSA approvals. Number 2, eye protection. All persons shall wear safety glasses, goggles, or face shields, or other suitable protective devices when in or around an area of a mine or a plant where a hazard exists which could cause injury to unprotected eyes. A couple of examples of really common types of eye protection include these polycarbonate safety glasses from Rugged Blue, as well as this all-purpose face shield by Selstrom, both with ANSI and ISEA approvals. Number 3, hearing protection. A mine operator must provide a hearing protector to a miner whose noise exposure equals or exceeds the action level. Now, this mention of exceeding the action level refers to MSHA's Hearing Conservation Program, which we cover in quite a bit of detail in one of the articles at mshau.com, so definitely worth a visit there to review. A couple of the most common types of hearing protection you're going to find at a mine site include these foam earplugs by Moldex and these ear muffs by MSA, both with ANSI ratings. Now, based on MSHA's Hearing Conservation Program and the noise levels in which you might work, noise levels might be so high that you could possibly be using both of these at the same time. Number 4, respirators and SCSR'S. A 1-hour self-rescue device approved by MSHA and NIOSH under 42 CFR Part 84 shall be made available by the operator to all personnel underground. Each operator shall maintain self-rescue devices in good condition. Another quote states that self-rescue devices meeting the requirements of Standard 57.15030 shall be worn or carried by all persons underground. Two common types of respirators you're going to find at a mine site include this disposable version by 3M and this half mask with replaceable filters by MSA, both NIOSH approved. Now, this SCSR by Asenco is approved by both NIOSH and MSHA. And that's important to understand because of the way that MSHA approves products. They approve very few types of PPE. You're going to see MSHA approving things that could create a spark, like flashlights and things like that we'll cover in a bit, and things like this very specific type of self-rescue respiratory device. Number 5, hand protection. Employers shall select and require employees to use appropriate hand protection when employees' hands are exposed to hazards. And when it comes to hand protection, you're going to want gloves that provide impact, abrasion, cut resistance, and some metacarpal protection as well. Something like these Metaminer Mechanics gloves by the Illinois Glove Company with ASTM approvals for all of those areas. Number 6, protective clothing. Special protective equipment and special protective clothing shall be provided, maintained in a sanitary and reliable condition, and used whenever hazards of process or environment, chemical hazards, radiological hazards, or mechanical irritants are encountered in a manner capable of causing injury or impairment. For example, these flame-resistant coveralls from MCR Safety provide protection from a range of electrical hazards. Number 7, high-vis clothing. While MSHA doesn't yet have specific regulations related to high visibility or high-vis and reflective clothing, OSHA, ANSI, ISEA 107-2010 do. Therefore, high-vis Class 2 and 3 reflective garments are required PPE at mine sites. Here's a great example of a high-vis vest by MCR Safety. Number 8, life jackets. Life jackets or belts shall be worn where there is a danger from falling into water. Two very different examples of life jackets include this vinyl dip vest and this automatic inflatable vest, both by Kent and both U.S. Coast Guard approved Type 5 vests. Number 9, safety belts. Safety belts and lines shall be worn when persons work where there is a danger of falling. A second person shall tend the lifeline when bins, tanks, or other dangerous areas are entered. This includes fall protection PPE like this personal fall limiter, as well as this full fall harness, both by MSA. Number 10, footwear. All persons shall wear suitable protective footwear when in or around an area of a mine or plant where a hazard exists which could cause an injury to the feet. This includes protective footwear like this steel-toed, waterproof lace-up Timberland boot and this steel-toed mining boot by Viking Wear. Number 11, flashlights and headlamps. This is actually a category of product that MSHA does test and approve because they want to avoid any type of ignition source for miners working in underground, gassy, and explosive environments. Now, in the PPE article on MSHAU.com, we go into a lot more detail about MSHA's requirements for this specific type of product, the flashlights and headlamps. But one key piece of what MSHA says in all those regulations is that the lighting unit shall have a safety device to prevent the ignition of explosive mixtures of methane and air if the bulb glass surrounding the filament is broken. So here are two types of personal lighting equipment specifically designed for the mining industry and approved by MSHA. There's the Nightstick, intrinsically safe permissible light flashlight, as well as their dual light multifunction headlamp. And finally, number 12, first aid. Adequate first aid materials, including stretchers and blankets, shall be provided at places convenient to all working areas. Water or neutralizing agents shall be available where corrosive chemicals or other harmful substances are stored, handled, or used. Some examples include this wool blanket by Ectos and these two very different styles of portable stretchers by Line 2 Design. Other common first aid items include this eye and skin wash station by Packet Safety, as well as this emergency response trauma bag by Mfasco. There you have it, the 12 most common types of PPE with real-world examples of items specifically designed for the mining industry. So don't forget to visit mshu.com for more information on mining PPE and lots more information on the mining industry. Thanks so much for watching.